Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I am bringing you the Amazing Spider-Man Venom. What if Venom was in the Amazing Universe? Now, before you watch this video, you're going to have to go watch the Amazing Spider-Man 2 rewrite and the Amazing Spider-Man 3 that I've posted on my channel, because those are the videos that lead straight into this one. And yes, Venom is a standalone movie in today's reality, but I'm exploring a reality where Venom would have took place in the Amazing Universe as it was meant to originally. So, this is going to continue the story of Peter Parker and obviously the rest of the guys in the Amazing franchise. And with that being said, let's get straight into it. So we start off our story where Peter is depressed about Gwen's death and everything that has happened with Harry Osborn. He is Spider-Man no more, and that is the setup for this film. Aunt May can see that Peter is having a tough time and actually tells him that her friend Anna Watson is back in town, and that is going to start his relationship off with her niece, Mary Jane Watson. And yes, Mary Jane is now introduced into this universe just after Gwen's death. Peter and Mary Jane meet and they hit it off. After Peter has lost Eddie Brock, he's lost Harry Osborn, he's lost Gwen Stacy, Peter now has a glimmer of hope in his life as he's met Mary Jane. We're with Eddie Brock as he starts interacting with the symbiote. This symbiote tells him all of the secrets about Spider-Man and shows him that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Eddie decides that he will take Peter Parker down. He now has all the motivation. He hated Spider-Man for stealing the symbiote and hates Peter Parker for being Spider-Man. He trusted Peter, and from his perspective, he's a turncoat, he's a fraud, and he's a liar. Then Alex O'Hearn is broken out of jail and is terrorizing the city in a mechanical rhino costume. Peter doesn't help at first because he's conflicted about being Spider-Man, but then Black Cat decides to help take him down, but the rhino has the upper hand. This forces Peter's hand and he helps take down the rhino in the Spider-Man costume. Black Cat and Peter have their first scene together since Peter asked Felicia to become a hero, and Felicia has. She's tried to help. Felicia explains that she thought about what Peter had said. She explains that she hasn't seen Spider-Man in a while and wondered where he'd gone. She is mad at him for not being there for the people when they needed him the most. Peter taught Felicia responsibility, and Peter has regressed on that now. Felicia has to give him a taste of his own medicine. Therefore, Felicia was forced into doing the right thing, and that was all because of what Peter told her. She never wanted anyone to get hurt, as said in the Amazing Spider-Man 3. However, Peter is still regressed. This does not convince him to come back to be Spider-Man full time. Although, him going to help take down the Rhino shows that there is a glimmer of hope within Peter. He is still extremely depressed about Gwen and Harry and everything that had happened, and he's still really down. He still needs someone to come into his life to help him and convince him of otherwise. They are wondering, however, who and why Alex had the costume and who he got it from and who he worked for. Felicia has a small inkling that it came from Oscorp, as it looked like some Oscorp tech, as she did work at Oscorp in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but Spider-Man exclaims that Harry is at Ravencroft. So who else has access to Oscorp tech like that? This is a mystery that will puzzle them too for the rest of the film. Peter and Mary Jane hang out for a little while and Peter seems a little happier than before. The sadness creates a mystery around Peter and incites MJ's interest into what's really going on with Peter. They hit it off and go on a quote-unquote first date, but however, Eddie Brock is stalking Peter Parker in the shadows, trying to figure out more about his life and who he cares about. One night, Peter is on an investigation to find out more info about the stolen Oscorp tech, and goes into Oscorp, but not as Spider-Man. The lack of Spider-Man in this film will explain Peter's uneasiness just to get back into the suit, therefore expanding his character and really showing us how human Peter Parker really is as a character. He isn't just Steel, he isn't Spider-Man and nothing can hurt him. No, he can be really hurt emotionally, and this film is really going to explore that. And this is because last time he properly dawned it, the love of his life died and he almost killed his best friend, and he lost another. Peter is still unsure about putting the mask back on. Then Venom attacks him out of nowhere. The symbiote attacks Peter. Peter is forced to use his spider abilities to fight back. This is the first big fight scene of the movie apart from Rhino. Venom explains that he knows all about Peter's life and the ones he loves. Peter wants to know who he is, and Venom reveals that it's Eddie Brock. Venom hates Peter for leaving him, and Eddie hates Peter for stealing the suit. their combined rage forms this monstrous creature. Venom defeats Peter but leaves, deciding that in his sadistic mind he wants to mess with Peter before finally killing him. Then in a scene with Venom, the symbiote does something unexpected. It reproduces. The Carnage symbiote is born. Venom needs to help find a host for the Carnage symbiote, so breaks out Cletus Kasady from a mental asylum. However, this act wasn't random or for plot convenience, but Venom has a reason for breaking Cletus out. Venom, along with his hatred for Peter, also possesses all of Peter's memories because of the symbiote. And to be clear, this is past memories, so he would not know about Mary Jane. So let's just say Cletus is someone from Peter's past that Venom could use to hurt him. And this is where the peak of Venom's sadisticness really comes in. It really shows how far Venom is willing to go to kill and mess with Peter Parker for ruining his life. And if you're thinking this is a little bit too much to get revenge, remember, his aggression and anger is also enhanced by the symbiote. Peter and MJ carry on getting to know each other, and we find out more about MJ and who she is as a person. We find out that she wants to be a news reporter similar to the Ultimate Comics. MJ can tell something dwells on Peter's mind, however, and asks what's up. Now here is the thing. Previously, Peter told Gwen about him being Spider-Man, but clearly that was a mistake because she died in The Amazing Spider-Man 3. So Peter can see this somewhat going somewhere as they start to grow close in this film. Now, their relationship won't be fully explored in this film, as this film is mainly revolved around Venom and Peter. However, even though MJ is a side character in this film, we can still explore them two as well and setting up their relationship for The Amazing Spider-Man 4. So what we're going to do here is we're going to explain that Peter will not tell MJ that he is Spider-Man like he did to Gwen in the first one. The reason for this is because Peter has learnt from Gwen. He has learnt, he's gone through that learning curve that he should not really tell people he is Spider-Man because it gets them in danger. It can get them killed just like it did to Gwen. Venom tells Carnage that their goal is to take down Spider-Man once and for all. However, Carnage says he has bigger plans. Turns out Cletus is a maniac and is a psychopath. The Carnage symbiote embodies this and represents this and starts to bond with Cletus unconditionally, and it drives him completely insane. The symbiote thrives off his lack of empathy and wants to go on a psychopathic killing spree. This is the difference between Venom and Carnage. This is the difference that makes Carnage more powerful than Venom. He asks Venom if he'd like to play a game of who can kill the most people, and Venom is horrified. This is Venom. Eddie Brock we're talking about. Brock never wanted to hurt anyone other than Peter, and it's the empathetic side of Eddie Brock that keeps him from going completely insane. It's the other level of Eddie Brock, because his character goes deeper in this film. His character is explored, and his empathetic side starts to come through. Carnage says that he'll deal with Brock's puny little problem in killing Parker, and then will proceed to do as he pleases, as Carnage is, quote-unquote, a nice guy. Venom tries to stop him, but in the fight, Carnage comes out on top. They both scrap with each other, and it's a major battle. Venom tries his hardest to stop him, but Carnage wipes the floor with him. Carnage tracks down Peter whilst he is with MJ, and Peter tells MJ to run as Peter is trying to conceal his identity, as we discussed before. She gets away with the rest of the crowd as they're in a public place, and Peter and Carnage fight. Peter asks if this is Venom, and Carnage says no. He reveals his face, and what do you know? Venom had broke out Uncle Ben's killer. Cletus Kasady killed Uncle Ben. He was chosen by Venom to hurt Peter Parker in the most sadistic way possible, but it turns out Cletus never cared about killing Ben. He's a psychopath. He doesn't care for his victims or who he kills. He just wants to kill people and moves on to the next one. He explains to Peter, and this makes Peter mad and angry. He tries to take him down, but Carnage comes out on top. Carnage wrecks Peter and thinks he's killed him when someone rescues him. Black Cat brings Peter to safety as Carnage runs off. Now here is where Black Cat will find out about Spider-Man's identity. Felicia Hardy will find out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man here. And these two characters, ever since The Amazing Spider-Man 3, have grown a little bit closer, and you can really feel the chemistry building up in this moment. This is going to be their intimate moment where they share details with each other and their personal lives. Felicia will connect with Peter Parker instead of with Spider-Man. And obviously, as we know, Spider-Man Peter Parker has regressed in this film, and Felicia didn't know Peter's identity, but now that she does, she can connect with him on a more sympathetic level, and now that he has regressed, Felicia will help him in this film. It's almost like a vice versa, role reverse kind of scene, and it'll be an emotional scene where they share details with each other about their personal lives. Felicia and Peter will really get to know each other. The reason this works so well is because in The Amazing Spider-Man 3, Peter had embodied the rage of Venom. But then in this film, Peter has embodied the rage of Carnage. You see, Peter was angry in The Amazing Spider-Man 3, but when he sees that Uncle Ben's killer is behind the Carnage symbiote, this enrages him even more, and he embodies the qualities that you would need to host the Carnage symbiote. It's almost like a parallel. The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was Venom. Venom is now Carnage. Peter's character parallels each symbiote in each of the different films. Except in The Amazing Spider-Man 3, he did come host to the Venom symbiote, but in this one, he won't, because obviously he's gone through that learning curve from The Amazing Spider-Man 3 in learning that the symbiote is not the way to go. However, he's conflicted. Peter is trying to battle his emotions. The anger is pulling him one way, but Peter is saying, no, we can't go that way anymore. And then we get a scene with Peter and Aunt May, and this is going to be the real turning point for Peter's character. Peter is worried about being Spider-Man and completely breaks down to Aunt May about everything that has happened. Aunt May reveals that she knew Peter was Spider-Man right from the start in The Amazing Spider-Man 1, at the end, obviously with the egg scene, but never said anything. She knew. Peter tells Aunt May about Venom's situation, and Aunt May tells him that Ben would never want him to give up. Peter explains that he would kill Cletus if he could, but then May explains that's what Cletus would want. That's what Ben wouldn't want. That is exactly what the Carnage symbiote wants him to do. The Carnage and Venom symbiotes are designed to embody the rage of the host, making Peter another susceptible bystander to either symbiote at this point in time. Peter takes these words wisely and knows what he has to do now. There are news reports all around the city that Carnage is tearing everything up and he's going around killing a bunch of people. Venom comes to find Peter. Peter is straight away on the defensive, however Venom is there to talk. Venom comes to terms with Peter, explaining that him creating the Carnage symbiote and giving it to Cletus was a big mistake. He never wanted to kill all these people, he only wanted to get back at Spider-Man for stealing the symbiote and ruining his life at Oscorp and obviously almost killing Harry. Venom asks Peter if they can put aside their differences to bring down Carnage, as Carnage has proven that he can beat both of them in a one-on-one fight, as earlier stated in the film. Spider-Man hesitantly agrees and thinks he could be being brought into a trap, so stays on edge. Because of this, Peter goes and asks Felicia to help them, and Spider-Man is back. With the help of Venom and Black Cat, they all go into battle to take down Carnage. It's a tough battle, however they take down Carnage, and in the end everything is solved. However, the symbiote had become weak on Venom as Brock had not been feeding off its anger for Peter. So when Brock returns to try and kill Peter, Peter has an idea to finally bring Venom down. Peter breaks down to the floor and begs for the symbiote back. He says he misses it in that classic scene from the comic books. And Venom slowly falls from Brock. Brock screams for it to come back, but just before he can bond with him, Peter webs it up, and it's over. Brock doesn't have the symbiote, and Peter is Spider-Man once more. And that is the end of the film. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Now obviously this one was a little bit of a different vibe to the other Amazing Spider-Man films. The focus was kind of on Peter and Eddie Brock at the same time. There were two main characters in this one since it is the Venom film. Here's the thing, if this film felt a little weird compared to the other ones, don't worry, The Amazing Spider-Man 4 will most certainly feel the same as the other ones did. This one was kind of a little bit of an anomaly as it was a Venom solo film, but obviously Peter Parker still had to come through in this one. With that being said, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.